The God has been dealing with this science for years, months, and miles.
So I've been working with iridology since 2008. Been an iridologist since then. We had a group of about 12 of us. Out of that 12, I'm the only one still utilizing this as a healing modality or a diagnostic modality, so to speak. And iridology is one of those things where it's pretty accurate, but it's not just on, say, the systems as far as if the kidney is doing well or if the testicular portion of the body is doing well, or the ovaries. It's also dealing with mental health too. So you can tell if a person has some sort of mental illness. I couldn't tell you what. I can tell if somebody's on drugs. I couldn't tell you what type of drugs. I can tell if somebody has a propensity to deeply held beliefs.
Right. And we were building on that because that was one of my questions. Like, what is it like that? Like beliefs? Is it something like that's related to a particular part of the brain? Because you say mental illness, like is that correlates to the brain? Because we know the brain and the mind are not necessarily one and the same. But
Right. So, of course, as I've been trained, the brain is nothing but a recorder. The brain records everything. And if we go a little bit deeper, you have more than one brain. In fact, every organ has its own intelligence. Every organ has its own brain, so to speak. This adage that we've been taught that if you stump your toe, then all of a sudden it sends a signal to your brain for it to tell the rest of the body that you've been stumped. That's nonsense. It's actually European. It doesn't make sense. From the African perspective, every organ has a brain. So it has its own intelligence. And if you think about it, you got 100 trillion cells in the human body. Each one of those cells has its very own intelligence. So once we start knowing and understanding the body's intelligence, we can easily move into a better sense of health and wellness.
And so, I mean, but the actual cell or organ actually communicates with the brain, or is that something that's not?
That's a great question. That is true, but all of this synapses that you have, so to speak, it's a symbiotic relationship, right? Like, for instance, in the human body, we have gut flora. A lot of people talk about gut health. One of the main brains we have is in the gut, right? 70% of the body's immune system is in the gut. So if you keep good gut health, half of your immune system challenges will be kept at bay, right? So when we talk about mental health, as far as me seeing if somebody possibly has some sort of mental illness, I'm basically looking at 12 o'clock and whether or not they're having dysfunction with the pineal gland, because it takes me directly there. And usually there's a specific type of line that shows in that area, and if it shows up, I know if that person has a particular highly guarded belief. There was a client that I was working with, and I saw that, and just to test it out, I asked them, if they belong to, any type of church or anything like that, and they said they did, and they started explaining, their, I guess their church home and all this other stuff, and they were, highly religious. So I was like, wow, okay, this stuff works. And this was like when I first, started doing it.
So would you say religion is I don't want to say disease?
No. Basically what it is. No, what I would say is it's just that, because it doesn't have to be like religion, right? It could be any highly held belief. And if these highly held beliefs cause one to be out of balance, then you fall into a situation
of
where
disease.
of dis-ease,
Yeah.
because dis-ease is dis-ease. So quite frankly, if somebody sits up there and smacks you, technically you've been diseased, right? If you stub your toe, technically you've been diseased. The opposite of dis-ease is ease. So it's a word game that is being played with a lot of that, a lot of wordology and stuff like that. But yeah.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.